In part one of this series, I introduced you to the meaning of algebra and the two big ideas of algebra that are generally taught in elementary school or primary school as we call it here in Australia. And they are equivalence and equations and functions. In this episode, I'm going to dive deep into equivalence and equations involving specifically addition and subtraction for the lower grades, and I'll explore a common misconception along the way. In the next episode, we'll again look at equivalence and equations, and I'll look specifically at multiplication and division. Before we go any further, I need to explain that addition problems can be either active or static. Active problems lead to functions. Static problems provide the context for equivalence and equations. For example, an active problem might read like this. Gemma had a bowl with 3 red apples. She placed 2 green apples in the bowl. How many does she have in all? This can be described as a function, which I'll discuss further in a future episode. A static problem would read quite differently. Gemma has a bowl with 3 red apples and 2 green apples. How many does she have in all? You can see that there is no action. The apples are simply sitting in the bowl. They are static. And problems like that can be represented easily using a pan balance. 3 red apples, 2 green apples. How many apples to put on here to make this pan balance? Now that you understand the difference between active and static problems, you can look for stories or books like this that can help introduce equivalence and generate some student interest. This is a book about static addition. Let's read some pages. Mice everywhere. 4 on a chair, 2 in the air. Can you see the 4 sitting on the chair? And there's 2 in the air on the fan. Mice everywhere. 5 in a band, 3 in the sand. So 5 and 3. Mice everywhere. 2 in the cheese, 6 in the trees. One more spread. Mice everywhere. 3 in a box, 4 wearing socks. Now, every one of those spreads can be used by the children to act out the addition story. If you remember the first spread, it went something like this. Mice everywhere, 4 in the chair, and 3 in the air. Now, what number of cubes do I put on this side to make the pan balance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 and 3 balances 7. At this early stage, students will be using their own natural language to describe what's happening. Just like I said before, 4 and 3 balances 7. They may say 4 and 3 is the same as 7. Or they might think of mass, as they've used or had experiences with mass on scales. So they might say 4 and 3 weighs the same as 7. In any case, as they move forward, they will eventually start recording what they see using symbols in an equation. 4 plus 3 equals 7. Then after many experiences using hands-on materials such as these, the students can move to pictorial representations of pan balances. This is a typical experience you can give students while learning the equal symbol, where they're asked to draw more shapes to keep the pan balanced before completing a matching equation below. The beauty of using a pan balance is it helps us to prevent that common misconception where the equal sign is interpreted as being, and the answer is. 4 plus 3 equals 7. 7 is the answer to 4 plus 3. The beauty about the pan balance is I can turn it around. It'd be quite natural, I think, for students to be putting the 4 plus 3 on this side maybe as they act out the story. Then 7 balances 4 plus 3. So be sure to give them many hands-on experiences where the total, or the sum as we call it, appears on the left-hand side. And then pictorial representations would look like this. Eventually, they'll start using symbols on pictures of pans to represent situations involving subtraction. Look at these pictures. Here we are relating addition and subtraction by representing a missing add and subtraction picture and having the students complete a matching addition equation below. This is how static problems and pan balances can be used to connect the inverse operations of addition and subtraction. At some point, students can write an addition equation and a subtraction equation to match the picture. This example is from a higher grade, where we want them to apply their mental computation strategies they have learned to write the complete equations. 10 plus 24 balances 34. 34 subtract 24 is 10. Now this is what I want you to do. 1. Remember that equivalence in equations is one of the two big ideas in algebra, and static problems should be used to introduce equivalence in equations. 2. Make sure your students get hands-on experiences with a real pan balance before moving to pictorial representations of a balance and then to later more formal equations. And finally, as always, if you've seen value in this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe today to make sure you never miss another learning episode with me. See you next time.